With the sponsored session, thereafter comes two sessions that are all both within the area of programmatic. So we always find it valuable to hear from some of the suppliers and to our sector. And today we have two of them that both deliver direct sales support software, something that is being used in the sales situation. They are very different companies. Net-linx is from Dresden, Germany, has been around for many years, has delivered high quality software to many big directory publishers, and have now also made a sales solution. The other company is a startup from the land of fire and ice, Iceland, and can't be much more different from net-linx they can't be much more different than those two. So the first speaker is Kai-Uwe Rössel. Kai is trainer and business analyst in net-linx Europe. We look forward to hearing 8 minutes about your power pack. Welcome, Kai.
Thank you very much. Happy to see you all. Hope you're happy to see me too. Thanks for emphasizing those 8 minutes again. It must be very important. But may I ask you to do something for me? A little exercise. Stop doing anything you do right now and look straight at me for 30 seconds without glancing down at your paper or your mobile phone. Endless seconds, isn't it? I don't have that much time for 30 seconds. I've done those 30 seconds in some of my training classes just to give people an experience how it feels like to stay focused for a few seconds. And it's so hard to keep someone interested or focused on you for more than a few seconds these days. And I totally admire and appreciate those sales reps who go out every day and speak to very different people about digital products, digital advertising that will change their business. Why do I think net-linx can contribute to this workshop? Well, we've been in the industry for almost 30 years, working with some of the largest businesses in the Yellow Pages world, from almost every continent. And about a decade ago, we started specifically developing solutions for sales and consulting, not only in the Yellow Pages and local search industry, but also in industries where it is important to make a good consulting, for example, financial institutions or insurances. So today, we combine those 27 years of experience in the directory world with the experiences and the knowledge of consulting in other industries. How well prepared are those consultants when they go out and meet the customer? And you would say, yes, of course, we've got our enterprise system, and it may have campaign planning and automatic proposal creation, you name it. And of course you have the sophisticated Salesforce or CRM system. Cool stuff, very organized, you've got it all, you've got the sales targets, and every consultant has a bar chart of what they're supposed to deliver. We talked about putting pressure on them to sell and all that stuff. You've got it all, and there's maybe a lot of paper or a lot of electronic stuff that they take along. But even if you have a database, a customer database with 100 years of customer history, how much does that help when the rubber touches the road? When that poor little guy goes out into the cruel world and talks to people about digital advertising? Do they know their customers? Do they know the business that they're in? Do they know their history? Do they know what they've tried and what they liked or what didn't work for them? It's very hard to appear knowledgeable to the customer. So you've got to give them, for the sales rep, you've got to give them something personal, something specific about that customer. So the customer feels like, all right, this guy knows me. This guy speaks right to my problems, my intents. By the way, is the color okay for you? A greenish thing? Or that? This one? So some of you might say, I like the blue type of thing, it's pretty warm in here, I like some cool colors. Others say, nah, I want that green, it reminds me of my 30th birthday, or whatever. So, but the moment you tell me your choice of colors, I have learned something about you. I've learned something about you as a customer, for example. Now imagine I could continue my PowerPoint presentation with the color of your liking, just to feel you more comfortable. The right thumb up, as we heard today. What if I could continue my PowerPoint presentation with a different train of thoughts based on your color choice, or based on what person you are, based on what business you are, based on what level customer you are? I could have a different line of arguments based on what industry you are in. Can you do that with PowerPoint? You probably all have fiddled with PowerPoint. And you try to find that very slide that you wanted to, you swapped the program or something, and this slide would fit, and I have it in a different sequence, and then try to find where you left off. Horrible. What if you have a tool that can do that for you? Customer experience. It's pretty obvious. Don't act like you're selling something. Trying hard is not always the thing that gets you the deal. I don't know what's your worst shopping experience ever, but just picture like being on vacation and you walk down the street, someone calling after you, hello mister, where are you from? Yeah, my favorite response to that is, I'm from Uganda, my name is Ntembu. And they would go, oh, Uganda, very good, very good. I'll give you a special price. Yes, of course you would, of course. But they don't really care about you, do they? They don't know the difference between Germany and Uganda and China. They just want to sell their rubbish. I give you my best, or one of my best purchase experiences staying in the same topic. Little village in the Caribbean, walk down the street, I meet a guy, we talk, tells me stuff about the village. Later, a few days later, he hooks me up with a friend and he helps me further with my vacation. So every now and then we had a chat. And on the last day, I walk up to him to say goodbye, and I ask him, so what are you doing actually? And he says, I'm selling souvenirs. Want to have a look? So behind him there was a little house, I hadn't noticed, but he was selling souvenirs. I would have been the perfect victim or target or whatever you call it. And he did, of course I bought something. He made no attempt to just force something on me. There was no pressure, no like, I'm selling something. Good salesman, good guy.
The guilt club.
Maybe not, I don't know. But it was like something, he helped me on my business. My business was the vacation. So how does the customer experience the sale? If you could participate in developing the customer's business, if you could contribute to what they want to do, if you could say, how was the 20-year anniversary last month? The customer goes, oh my God, you remember this? Yeah, you told my colleague last year. Wow, that would be something. How in the world can the sales consultant do this? Well, they gotta get a little bit help from the back office, of course. Of course, you do know your goals. Do you also know the customer's goals? Difficult story. You've got to remember details that the customer shared with you. Not about the 20-year anniversary, but things how they plan to develop their business. Maybe new products that they try to put on the market. Maybe new advertising channels that they try to explore. You've got to remember this, and you give them recommendations. Maybe recommendations that do not instantly transform into advertising, but be genuine and talking to the customer's business. That's a cool thing. I give you another example from the banking area actually, that we are supporting as well. A few years ago, I tried to open a bank account with a friend for a charity that we have founded, and I had everything sorted out. Just went to the office, to the bank to open or sign the papers, and the clerk asked us, "So you guys live together at that location?" He didn't remember the goals that I had. And today we are at a different bank, sorry. Because I want someone to remember my goals. I want someone to support me in achieving my goals. Do the consultants know their industry? Yes, of course. I've been in the industry for, I don't know how long. But there's so many today, there's so many consumer trends, changes. There are so many technology trends that they know of. They go out, they get 8 minutes to talk to the customer about all those options and all those variations of the products. How in the world can they consult them? They need to know the business. You see the haystack report in the background, some of them are using that. They have to know what's best for an individual customer. How would they get that much industry insight in a short time? Well, make it available with the sales package. And they can use it. Speaking about time, how much time would that take? It's all paid working time. So they could learn and you turn them into consulting ninjas, and a week later the winds have shifted and you have to start again. And what can you do with your sales force? You might have like 5 or 10% who are sales prodigies anyway. They have superpowers, they don't even know how they do it, they just fly. And then you may have like 5% who are swamped. Right? They just survive somehow. But that still leaves 85 to 90% of your sales force, the majority of your people, who do a pretty good job, but they could use a little help every now and then. What if you could give them that little help in small doses, at the time when they really need it, at the time when they're with the customer? That's guided selling. That's guided selling with NX Power Pack. You may have picked up some of the brochures. If you want, you can talk to me after the show or to my wonderful colleagues. Raise your hands. Where are you? Okay, right, lovely. It's an interactive visual presentation tool, individualized to each customer. Works for face-to-face sales or via telephone. You can get the customer into a dialogue. Do it with me. You share information about the industry, they share information about their goals. The presentation automatically may change the sequence of slides, may introduce new slides based on the customer responses, based on who the customer is. You can make modifications to the proposal while you're talking without fiddling with an order screen or something, just by talking to the customer, looking at the customer, and the system does that. Cool thing. And of course, for the reporting part, you've got protocols and slide timing reports, all of that, to explore further options of training or enhancing the experience. Let's meet and talk about it. I hope we will all be successful in turning a tough job for the sales guys into a fun experience. Thanks.
Thank you, Kai. You almost get the 8 minutes.